Hi everyone, my name is Jillian Mahon and I am a graduate student on the Michigan State field hockey team.
What's up, Spartan fans? This is Rocky Lombardi.
I'm Leah Mitchell. I'm a senior on the women's gymnastics team.
My name is Austin Kamer. I am a senior on the hockey team here at Michigan State.
For the next 14 days, I'm going to be taking you through my typical week.
Kind of show you what it's like being a student athlete on campus right now, going through COVID, so it should be fun.
It's Tuesday, August 4th. This is the last day of our short quarantine break. We've all been quarantined for about 10 days or so. Everybody's ready to get back to work. Got my Final Four shirt on. Shout out MSU basketball. We're just ready to get back to work. Excited to get up tomorrow and get back with the guys.
Go green on three. 1, 2, 3. Go green.
It's been amazing being home, but I will say it's not normal training in the gym now. We have to go in the gym one way, exit a different way. Everyone has their own bin of chalk. You cannot share. We have to wear these masks now during practice, but it's not too bad once you get used to it.
Just got out of our first workout. Good to get back with the guys, get the team together, get working. Got about an hour and a half before my meeting, so gonna grab some lunch, hang out, rest up a bit, get ready to go.
On campus and downtown right now, you have to wear a mask. So as you can see, I'm wearing my mask. On campus, it's definitely pretty strict. During the year, everybody's gonna have to wear one inside and out. Very interested to see how this year plays out. A lot of the rules are gonna be strictly enforced. Field hockey is getting tested on September 8th to officially restart play. And after 2 negative tests, we are allowed to return to play. So that'll be about September 20th. So excited for that, but a long process with a lot of guidelines to follow.
All right, now here with Brody Stevens, senior forward, also my roommate. So, Brody, what do you think with the schedule and COVID? Has anything changed, like from a normal summer schedule?
Not really for us. I mean, still practice every day and still work out. We're in smaller groups, so it's a little weirder, and you don't get to see all the guys. But I mean, schedule-wise, it's the same.
Obviously, being a senior, I've been through a lot already. I mean, 3 years. So you learn. You learn a lot year by year.
All right, it's Friday, August 7th. Just got done with our first day of fall camp. Really good first day, especially for not being able to play football for 6-7 months, whatever it was. Really proud of how the guys have stepped up to the challenge. Really took those Zoom meetings we had over quarantine and put them to good use. So excited for tomorrow. Excited to see what we can do, see what we can improve on. A lot of work to be done, but really good start.
So today at 2:55, our head coach Helen Null called an emergency team meeting, and unfortunately she delivered the news that our season was getting moved to the spring, and there were still a lot of uncertainties about spring season, and so this could possibly mean the end of the Cole Twins in my career. It was really hard to handle. We got really emotional on the conference call, and it's just hard to grasp after participating in the sport for 12 years and then also a fantastic 4 years at Michigan State. We're going to stay positive and optimistic, but it's really hard as this has been our entire life, and especially in college. So we're just going to be optimistic.
It raises a lot of questions whether or not will I even have a senior season, and will I be able to train when I go up in the fall? Will I be able to be with my teammates this year? It's kind of emotional, just with all the uncertainty. But again, I just know that there's a plan and there's a purpose, so things will get better, even if we don't see it right now.
He came out to our house. We were gone for a couple of weeks, and I paid he and another person to help mow our lawn. But he fixed my lawnmower. I mean, like, who does that? Like, he does it. He's sort of like a Renaissance man, I guess. Kind of like his own personal Portland.
I really like cars, motorcycles, anything like that, because I feel like it's really an extension of my personality, and I feel like any car person will tell you the same thing. We're able to build something ourselves, put our own personal touch on things, do things that we want to do with these cars because we see ourselves in them. I have a vision when I see a car. I can see what that car can be. How can I make this reflect who I am? And when I go into town, when I go places and my friends or people who know me see that car, they go, oh, that's not Morgan's car, that's Morgan. You know, so I feel like the same way that people get tattoos to personalize themselves and to say things without speaking about themselves, that's how I feel about cars and motorcycles and my projects like that. My dad raced jet skis when I was really young. He did it pretty much since I was a baby. So I was always around the noise and the motors of it, even, you know, if I didn't think it was anything special. He got me into motocross directly when I was 4. So I got my first motorcycle when I was 4. I started racing around the same time. About a year later, I was going around the state almost every weekend, racing different places with that. You're wearing a lot of gear and it's really hot, so there's a lot of endurance involved in that. That's actually how I got into running. It wasn't uncommon to have running races around motocross tracks. You know, the tracks were about 1 mile to 2 miles long in Michigan, and there are a lot of hills, so they're pretty tough. They make for some pretty fun courses. It's also a lot of very deep sand. It's difficult to ride through, so they do it on purpose as an obstacle, which it's also difficult to run through. So it was always interesting to have these people running at motocross tracks, and eventually I got into that. It was fun, so I didn't know what I was doing. I was just running. I ran barefoot for 1.5 miles on this track, and then I had this 14, 15-year-old kid telling his dad that he couldn't drop me. And we were like 1 mile in, and his dad's like, "What are you doing?" He was getting super frustrated. And he turns around and looks at me and goes, "This kid's a machine." So it was really fun to have that. Really early on. That motivated me to keep going, I guess. I figured, you know, I might be pretty good at this running thing. So I joined the cross country team when I got into middle school, and yeah, the rest is history. My freshman year, I was like 130th in the state. In Division II, sophomore year, I was like 13th, 14th. And then my junior year, I won. And then my senior year, I won. And then I was also, I think I put down the fastest time of all divisions in the state. So that shift really happened my junior year. That was when I really started looking at this as, there's a future here. Maybe I can get into college through this. I can win some things. I can do some stuff. So that was really when I started taking it seriously.
Watching him race in high school, just his patience throughout a cross-country race or a track race. At the state meet on the track, he ran 1,600 meters and he wasn't feeling great, but he closed in 56 seconds. And that's the sort of thing that, it might have been 57 low, but that's the sort of thing that the elite athletes have to be able to do. And I thought, well, if he can kick, he's going to be able to have a chance at Big Ten championships.
I was on a visit with, I think, 1 or 2 other guys. When I got here, the team was coming back from a meet the night I showed up, and they were like, "Who are these guys?" It really showed me that I had to earn my space. You know, instead of going out to dinner, we had a bonfire and we just sat around and talked. Why do you belong here? It was like an interview process for me. They forced me to try and get in, and that was something that I really wanted to. I really had to prove myself when I got here.
And, you know, I think that sort of gave him a good sense that this is a grounded group of people, and really understanding that this is how we're going to celebrate, and this is where our priorities are, because they know that you come back on a Saturday night, and honestly, they get up on Sunday morning and they go run anywhere from 12 to 18 miles.
I never liked things being handed to me, so I think that just fit in with my mindset of, okay, you're going to have to earn your way, and it's definitely going to be worth it because these guys are tough, and you're going to have to be tougher.
I think it's important that we have that kind of culture. I think that our student athletes have they have high expectations, and I think that culturally they know what's going to work and what's not.
Find your breathing pattern, find a teammate, solve a problem. Just keep going back to your race plan.
I liked the idea of designing things. I like the idea of creating new things, innovating, and making things better, making things more efficient, making things safer. And I mean, in my case, I'm not gonna lie, I just want to make things faster. So that's a big part of why I want to go into engineering, is my background in racing and motocross and that whole bit of my life. Everything I do is problem solving. So working on cars, you have a problem, you have to find a solution, and then you have to know how to navigate that solution and apply that solution. Engineering, you have a problem. Well, you know what the problem is. What do you want your solution to be? In running, you're going to have problems. What do you want your solution to be? How do you come to these solutions? How do you work towards these solutions? It's not just, oh, I know what the solution needs to be. How do I get there? So I think it's all looked at from the same perspective on my end.
I think it's an important part of what we do as coaches is that we help people look at the world and help them sort things out. I'm certainly not telling people how to think, but certainly I'm going to ask a lot of questions and try to get them to think about what's coming next or how. I think our job is to help people kind of navigate life and grow into adulthood.
Since I've been here, I've learned a lot from my coaches, and that shaped me into a better leader, and it's also helped that I have other people that I can turn to. Just having that ability to communicate more efficiently and communicate more specifically has grown, and that's also helped me with maturing as a runner and maturing as a person in athletics and in academics.
From the words of Dr. John A. Hanna, president of Michigan State College, our every activity became geared to the war effort. In dedicating ourselves to help win this war in the least possible time, we did not lose sight of post-war problems and the challenge of rebuilding the world.
My name is Matthew Wilcox, and I'm the audiovisual archivist at University Archives and Historical Collections. One of the biggest projects that I'm working on at the archives right now, the digitization of Spartan athletic motion picture films. We have basketball films that go back to 1941 and football games that go back to the early 1930s. During the time of World War II, I saw a lot of instances in research and in some of the films that I've worked with where there was a collaborative effort to try to rise above and make a difference and make a contribution, not only to help bolster the name of Michigan State College, but to make a valid effort towards the war effort.
Specialists in horticulture are searching for substances which cause spoilage in dehydrated vegetables and fruits, thereby assisting materially in saving more food for the home and battlefronts.
Up until May of 1943, the Board of Trustees was certain that there was going to be a regular football season for that year. There were more students that were enrolled for training, on-campus training for military, ROTC and such. And because of the relationship that John Hanna had with the War Department asked that students enrolled in military training not be made available for intercollegiate athletics. That ultimately led to John Hanna's decision to forego intercollegiate athletics for that year. The state news alluded about a week before John Hanna made his final decision that they were certain that there was going to be a football season, but there were rumors that were floating around that there wasn't going to be football for that year. And it wasn't until, I believe it was August 11th of 1943, that John Hanna made the campus-wide decision that 1943 football season was going to be canceled. In the 1944 yearbook, there was not even a mention of the fact that there were no athletics for that time. The head football coach, Charlie Bachman, was later loaned out to Camp Grant in Illinois to serve as sort of a civilian football coach for one of the wartime football teams. He was there for 2 months. The assistant coaches to Charlie Bachman wanted to keep some form of football going on campus, so there were 5 teams that were made available, and his assistant coaches were each coaching one of those separate teams. So there were on-campus engineers, non-campus engineers, veterinary students, and so on, each played 4 games during the 1943 season.
We believe a living university, and Michigan State College is in fact a university, must stand or fall upon its ability to serve the public.
In 2020, despite the fact that the university is now 100% remote learning, we're still doing the best we can as a university, as faculty, students, and staff, to try to come together and overcome the adversity that we've had to face with this pandemic.
It is a perfect late summer night in East Lansing, Michigan, and the Oregon Ducks have made the 2,000-mile journey to the Midwest.
Hello, everyone. This is one of the most compelling comebacks in the recent history of college football. 1 year ago, when these two teams met in Eugene, Oregon, Michigan State's junior cornerback, Amp Campbell, suffered what many believe to be a catastrophic injury. That impact broke Campbell's neck.
We didn't really know whether he would get back to even being able to function, to go back and think about what happened the previous year, and then for him to suit up against the exact same team in the opener. As they say, you couldn't have written a script any better than that.
It's kind of crazy, leading up to that game. It was a big game for me. Actually, for us, I know I was going to be a little sluggish at the beginning because I haven't played in almost a year. I just wanted to go out and play well, and most importantly, wanted to win the football game.
Ducks love to spread you out. They throw it all around, over 300 yards last year, and try to sneak the run in there under you. But Drones was stopped. Nice play inside. Nick Myers part of the charge. Second and 13. They backed up 24 yards the last couple of snaps. Trying to get out of the hole with Plaxico Burris. Was he in bounds? Yes, at the 43. When in trouble, 16 will go to 4 a lot this year. They made the pickup. It's his first action as well. Clemens finds room on the outside to the 30-yard line. 14 yards of rushing for Lloyd Clemens. Burke out of the gun. Trying to get to that yellow line at the 9. With time. And a touchdown to senior Gary Scott.
I think we had a little more aggressiveness. I think we used the talent that we had on offense really well. I think the coaching staff called a balanced game. We made some big plays in special teams. Gary Scott had a really big night.
Feeling the heat going down. Last year, he missed 2 kicks all season. Hit every extra point, missed just 2 field goals. Officially a 41-yarder, no chance.
You jinxed him.
4th and 1, Drone spinning, stop.
Our offensive line really came together well, and it's always such an X factor with any offense. You've got to have that offensive line gelling at the right time, and I think our guys really came together.
And a big run for Clemens. Across midfield into the 45 for Lloyd Clemens. Bringing 4. Burke finds Gary Scott open, who made a great move in the open field. Scott stays on his feet. Inside the 10 to the 7. Paul Edinger on to attempt the field goal, a 22-yarder. And the Spartans get within 7. Screen for Drones. Knocked down. Spartan defense answered the call. Really good kick. Gary Scott for the 23. Did he outkick his coverage? Gary Scott up the middle. Down to the outside. With a lane down the outside. To the 29. A big punt with a 5-yard net. 3rd and goal. Throws on a run. Touchdown! In the red zone, Oregon, 1st and 10. Ching, fumble the football! It's picked up by Amp Campbell! Touchdown Spartans! What a play!
It was just amazing. Julian Peterson, man blocked. He hit the tailback in the backfield right on the football. And I remember the receiver coming to block me, and I gave him a hard fake outside like I was going to run outside. The ball, perfect bounce. like right into my hands. And the only thing I can think of was I can't let nobody catch me. Pretty much ran as fast as I could. And then once I realized I was going to score, I felt like this can't be real. But at the same time, too, it felt so good. That was a huge momentum swing for us. And I felt like, like I said, after that score, we was going to win that football game.
Wonderful job of breaking it up by Amp Campbell. Ray Brust had a first down, but Campbell stuck his helmet in there and knocked it away. Edinger on for a 30-yard field goal. Edinger connects from 30 yards out. Ducks stay alive, out of timeout, 73 seconds to go. Intercepted! Ronaldo Hill just goes down. And the Spartans will win the opener. And this guy, whose career was done, they tested him, beat him a couple of times, but after what he's come back from, that adversity was nothing. The fumble return that put the Spartans ahead for good.